for the licenses alone, we need close to 400,000. Well, actually, it's more like 375,000. Because the technical total is 3,700. Sorry, 373,500. But you kind of round it up to about 375, and then to expand it. Oh my gosh, this is gonna hurt. Oh moly! So we got ow, ow. Oh no! Hold on. Oh, we need close to a mill. We need close to a mill. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that is going to happen. All right, let's flip the switch and see what happens. I don't think we're gonna get it. I don't think we're going to get it. I will be surprised if we actually hit it, because each day only brings about 150 ish. So we do 150. 150 times that by 7,899. Let's go with 4. That's only 600,000. Does not look promising. But you know what? Who knows? Who knows? We might be surprised. Might be pleasantly surprised. We might actually make more than what we think. But that's also not taking into consideration all the stock that we have to continuously buy. What was it? I mean, we did open all this up, so, you know. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. This is 1, 4, 8, 11, 23, 26, 29, 33, 34, 37, 40 to 44,000. That's 44,000, which will get us nothing. I'm going to trust the process. All we can do. Just trust the process. Do 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 do. Oh. I mean, if we don't hit it, we don't hit it. That's fine. Just a goal. Because I'd like to do the bottom at 100, the top at 200, and then from level or from day 200 to 300, it just runs itself. That's it. So you get 100 days of just making sure that everything is inventoried, everything is up and going. Ching, ching. I mean, I love seeing that money go up there, though. $200 here, $300 there, $400 there. Oh, 1,000. You had to ching 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 ching. Ching. Of course, as much as I want to sit here and just wait until day 100, I think the only way that we can almost guarantee that we hit it is to increase as we go with the tech store. That way there's new products for them to buy at a higher price. I went back for a second. He's like, I love that cookie so much, I want a second one. All right. Don't buy random things just yet. Wait till the end of the day. Ooh, we got people going in the horror films. That ends it for day 1. For day 1. People are liking the mall though. I mean, look at those mall points go up. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So tomorrow, if I don't get called into work in the morning, we should be playing World of Warcraft. And then depending on what my kids do tonight will determine if we play more in
A wizard
evening.
is never late.
Indy!
Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Indy, my brother from across the pond, how the fuck are you doing today? I know I use foul language. How are you doing, Indy? How does the great Indy do today? Perfectly normal, my friend. Normal? You are not normal. You are fucking awesome, dude. All right. Almost quit my job yesterday. There's that. Or I should say, almost applied for another job immediately. There's nothing my job did. It was more what Joyful's job did. So good news and bad news. Good news is Joyful did get her promotion. That's the good part. The bad news is they almost lost 2 employees. They strung her along and did not give her an actual answer and said that they would reevaluate, or one manager did, said that they would reevaluate, which really pissed her off, pissed me off. If I would have thought about it more, I probably should have gone into the store and chewed all of her upper management out, but I didn't. I probably should have. It would have gotten a lot of stuff off my chest about corporations and how they are blind and ignorant to shit that's going on. But anyway, so she was mad, I was mad, and then come to find out, after she had left and I had gone to work, because I had to get to work, apparently 2 of the other managers that were there wrang the other manager's neck, because quite frankly, from the way that I was hearing it, from everything that was going on, I wasn't physically there to hear it. The one supervisor was very unprofessional during the whole thing, and manager below her and manager that is equal to her both pretty well chewed her ass out. So in the end, Joyful ended up getting her promotion, but at the same time, it was an emotional roller coaster that never should have happened to begin with, and all they did was string her around, and I don't approve of that. I have never approved of that for anybody. I've been through that. I've been through that 3 times where they just string you along and you're working your ass off. You're doing what is expected of you. You're doing more than what is expected of you, and yet they still say you're not good enough. And it's like, what the fuck do I have to do? Get down on my hands and knees and, do an act that I shouldn't even have to do? Is that what you're wanting? Because I am not doing that. So No. So back in October, Joyful was supposed to be working towards assistant supervisor, assistant manager. So since October, they have been pushing this whole thing off. They said that they would do the interview process in November. Something came up, then they said December. Something came up, then they said not until February. Had the interview process that assistant managers shouldn't even be going through. That is something that general managers should be going through, not assistant managers, because they're hiring general managers off the street, and I guarantee you they don't even go through that type of questioning. So they had that in February, and then they said we will have something for you in 3 weeks, which is towards the end of March, midway March, towards the end of March. That day came yesterday. They did not give a straight answer on if she had it or not, and at the end of it, when she finally said, look, my husband's here, I gotta go, they basically just said, we will reevaluate both you and your manager and see if we will go forward. Really? That's what you're gonna fucking do? So she leaves pissed off, upset, rightfully so. So after Joyful left work, the other 3 managers, or the other 2 managers that were there during that process, so you have 2 upper supervisors, both at the same level, then you have 1 below them, and then you have Joyful's boss, and then Joyful and the other shift managers. So the other boss that is the same as this girl here, who was a complete bitch, and yeah, I will say it, I don't care, it's assuming, and then the person under her, both attacked her for being too hard and not giving an answer, and saying that she deserves it because of everything that she has done. So then it was reversed of not getting it to getting it. That's how that whole process went, according supposedly. So Miss High Horse got knocked down by her equal and an underling, and the decision was turned to give it to her. But that whole emotional roller coaster never needed to happen. It should have been, you show up, you say you got the job, congratulations, we expect good things out of you, and that's the end of it. That's how that conversation should have gone. Not a, pardon my French again, bitch fest of everything that's going wrong in the store and then leaving it up in the air of, we'll reevaluate. No, dickhead. It should have gone much better. So Miss High Horse over here was very unprofessional. She is lucky it was not me in that interview that I was becoming assistant manager, because I would have lost my cool. And that's no lie. I would have, because I have already gotten onto my own boss and snapped at her for things they aren't even doing. I would have laid into that woman in a way that she has never been laid into by a crew person. Let's just say I would have been happy walking out of that place not being employed anymore. But I got a lot of stuff off my chest too. She was on a high horse and very unprofessional about it all, because they were out in the lobby having this conversation, and her and Joyful's manager were literally going at it, from what I was told. It was a literal, almost screaming match of her going that she's all high and mighty and she's the upper, and that this one needed to shut up. Excuse me, you're not listening because you sit in an office and look at numbers all day. I would have been like, when was the last time you were on the floor? When was the last time you got down on the production line and actually put a sandwich together to not feed your face? When was the last time you did that? Hmm. I'm telling you, Indy, I would have gone off on her in ways that she never would have expected from a crew person, because I would not have it. After being strung along and you thinking you know everything because you're looking at numbers and you don't even know what could possibly be happening to cause numbers to go down. You think that a piece of paper that says you should hit these times is correct. That is not even fathomably capable of reality. You are looking at a computer generated piece of paper that if everything went 100% correct, that those numbers would be hit. It is just like in video games when people crunch numbers on DPS output in RPGs. That is if you hit every single button correctly every single time and there is a good outcome on the procs of the boss. Meaning you got good setups and the boss just didn't go off of its algorithm and ape shit crazy and started casting the same spell multiple times. That is 100% the perfect outcome, and that's what they look at. You don't see the we're short because somebody called in. You don't see that a roast oven went down. You don't see that a computer glitch happened. You don't take that into accountability, and that's where your numbers are never going to be hit. And they expect a number that is impossible to hit. I've told my boss this several times. They set these numbers at an impossible impact so you can't hit them. That way they can always say, you need to be improved. You need to improve. Even though you're doing the very best that this store can do with what you've got. They don't care. They see a number and that's what they dwell on. You know, if they say that your drive-through time should be 2 minutes, 2 minutes is impossible. Because it takes 2 minutes to make a damn sandwich. It takes 2 minutes and 75 seconds to cook a basket of fries. It's impossible. But they expect it. They expect it. And if it was me, I'd be saying, you know what? How about you get your ass on that damn line and you prove to me that you can hit these numbers and I'll time you. And I would be so bold that if you can't hit those timers, then you step out of your job and you quit. Of course, they wouldn't quit. They just fire me because I was right. But, yeah. Because since I technically don't work for the same company. It would have pushed me to quit my job, apply for a different job with higher pay, and then apply for a job that I could get at an earlier time. That's how. Because I actually have, well, I don't have, I could have a job that is actually 10 minutes from my house right now that pays $1.15 more with all the benefits that I'm needing, which you're probably wondering why I haven't applied right now, and then find another job that is closer in time of my drive to make it all work. Because right now I'm driving about 35 to 40 minutes away from my own job. I know for you people in the UK, it's kind of hard to fathom that us Americans would drive 45 minutes to our job. I actually did see a TikTok about that. you guys don't drive long hours from what the person was saying. You know, you guys' commutes are pretty short. All right, this looks fine. But if the decision was not changed by the end of the day and I was still irritated and ticked off, I would have come home, I would have applied for that job, gotten answers from that one, which they probably would have answered, you know, called me back the next day, today. And if that was good within the time frame that I need, work there and then find a day shift job that I could work day shift into that one and then come home and sleep, and that's what my routine would be until Joyful found something better. It's not rare for someone to drive an hour where you're at. I frankly don't like driving 45 minutes to my job, to be honest. I don't like it at all. All right, so I prefer to live close to where I'm working. So that's just me. That's just me. If in London, no driving around London, people do drive up to an hour usually. Yeah, but what's the longest time span from, I'm guessing you guys are longer than wider. What's the longest time span of driving from one point of the UK to the other point of the UK? And I will tell you that length of time where you would end up in the US from my current residence. Bottom to top, the longest point to the longest point, whichever one that is, whether it's east and west longest or north and south longest, whatever the longest point to the longest point is. Like, for example, for the United States, probably the longest point of driving would be from Maine, which is like, okay, if we're looking at the map here, like face looking, Maine would be here to probably Washington. So it'd be Maine from, ours would probably be east west would be the longest points. We're not going through Canada to get to Alaska, so don't count Alaska. And we ain't counting Hawaii because you'd have to get on a plane or a boat to get to Hawaii. So those are automatically out. Because if you included Alaska in that, you would have to drive through Canada, which means it would be Alaska to Florida. More than likely. Can I buy cards already? $847 miles drive. but that's bottom of UK to the top of UK. England is 550 miles. All right, let's do this. Where are the two longest parts of England? Two furthest points of English, longest stratus line distance, are typically considered to be Land's End in Cornwall, southwest, and the Winterton on Sea in Norfolk. Yeah, I probably mispronounced that. The east or northeast, spanning approximately 592 kilometers, which is 368 miles, similar to slightly shorter long distance route spans from Cornwall to the Scottish border. What? Okay, let's do this. How long will it take to get from one point in England to the other? Driving from one end of England to the other takes roughly 10 to 14 hours, covering around 500 to 600 miles. A full journey from Land's End to John O'Groats, Scotland, takes 16 to 20 plus hours. Factors like traffic, route, and stops typically mean a single day trip is grueling, often requiring 18 to 24 hours total. By car, 14 to 20 hours drive from England's End to John O'Groats, so England's End to Scotland, 837 miles according to Quora's users. Across England, east to west, driving from the Anglia to the Welsh border takes about 4 to 5 hours. So your most typical drive is going to be somewhere around 18 to 24 hours. Okay. So I know for a fact from where I live to Tennessee, which is 2 states below me, takes 6-hour drive. Okay. So okay, we're a little closer. Let's go. So from where I live to Florida, which is south of me, is 12 to 15 hours. From where I live to Texas, which is more towards the center, close to Mexico, is 12 to 16 hours. Which means California should be okay. So we're a little over on California, but from where I live to California will be 30 to 35-hour drive. So let's see. How far? 1 point. So if you wanted to drive the complete it's Washington to Florida. If you wanted to drive the complete US from its 1 point to 1 point, excluding Alaska. Okay, as I said, if it was Alaska, it'd be Alaska to Florida. It will take generally 40 to 50 hours of an actual drive time. And that is from corner to corner from Washington to Florida. That's what we're looking at. I always thought, I really don't look at the European map, but I always thought Scotland was more in Europe than close to the UK. But then again, I thought New Zealand was up there by Greenland and Iceland. It's not. It's by Australia. Or closer to Australia. Okay. Oh. Yeah, see, I always thought Scotland was like down across the water into Europe. Like it was attached over close to like Denmark and the Netherlands, that area, Norway, and England was its own thing. I did not realize that Scotland and somewhat part of Ireland is part of the UK. No wonder you guys have more Irish roots there. That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't think it was. I literally thought Scotland and Ireland and all that was further east of you guys. Oh, I know that. I know. But I didn't think they were that close. Well, look, I learned something today. I can go to bed and end my day now. See, this is why I love the internet. This is why I love the internet so much. A lot of people fear the internet. A lot of people don't like the internet. A lot of people are like, oh, there's no more socialization. I find that this type of stuff, you can learn more about the countries and the people by literally talking to them than looking it up in a book. You know, because honestly, that conversation didn't ever need to happen because why would I care? But if we're having a conversation about it, then it becomes caring, then it becomes looking up knowledge, and then it becomes, oh, look at me, I didn't know this, but you do because you live there. So then I look up the information. I'm like, oh, well, look at that. Scotland is above England. Interesting. And Ireland is just west of them too. Just a little boat ride across. Actually, you guys probably have a bridge that goes probably across that one, and then you would drive down into Ireland, or into Ireland, I should say. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I read this somewhere, or I found it somewhere. You guys actually have an underwater train that goes from the UK to Europe, France area. Am I wrong about that? Is there no underwater train, or is that just something I wish would happen? I'll flip this switch and let it run. I thought I read somewhere, or someone had mentioned it somewhere, that there's like a train to go under the water or through the water to get across. No bridge from England to Ireland, but yes, or train from London to Paris, Amsterdam. Ah, dude, I've got to go on that thing at some point in my life. I bet that is awesome. Now, is it a clear tunnel or is it enclosed? I'm sure it'd probably be enclosed. Could you imagine though? I think they call that, maybe that's in Japan, but they call it a bullet train, right? Enclosed, but it's what, a bullet train? Is that what they call it? Because it's like really, really fast or something like that. Maybe that's in a different country. Not a bullet train. I think that's just okay. So Japan has the bullet train. I know somebody has a train that they call a bullet train, and it goes really, really fast. It's super fast, but you don't even realize it's that fast because I guess the inertia and the travel is just like, you don't even feel it. It's just boom, and you're there. I mean, probably not that fast, but you know what I mean. Women's is done. I think women's is done. Can I finish? Yeah, I finished off the women's. Yeah. Oh, good. I can actually put in all. Good. We're down to purple and blue soap dispensers. Eurostar is really boring. Just like a train, you don't even know. Aww. Could you imagine looking at all of the sea life as you're, I mean, obviously they'd have to enclose it. I mean, because it just wouldn't be safe, I guess. Some whale slams into the side of a plastic or a glass glass casing, but could you imagine? I mean, just looking at all the sea life as you're traveling by train. Dude, that'd be so cool. And you can never say it's the same thing twice because you never know what you're gonna see out in the water. It's not like the sky where it's like, oh, birds, clouds, blueness, yawn. No, you could see. There's no telling what you would see. Whales, dolphins, sharks, lots of school fish, and just sucker fish even attached to it. You never know what you're gonna see. Great. Well, this is true, depending on how fast. But I mean, you could slow if I'm sure people wouldn't mind a slower travel if you could take time to actually, not super slow, but slower than it probably goes, to actually enjoy the view somewhat. I think people would be more amazed at what they could see traveling on the train than just, oh, I need to hurry up and get over there. It's like, no, we're going to take this train. We're going to see what we see on the way there, and we're going to get to see what we see on the way back. You know, I really don't think people are going to mind that. in my honest opinion. But like, oh, I saw this massive whale there, and then on our way back, we saw a massive amount of schoolfish just swimming around the tunnel. Fun straight to Disneyland Paris, but they got rid of that stuff. Do they still have Disneyland in Paris? I feel like Disneyland closed that down, or maybe it was somewhere else they closed it down because it wasn't making money like they thought. So it was the one in France that they, or in Paris, they closed it. I know Disneyland was closing some of them down because they weren't making, like, I would say Disneyland probably wouldn't do so well, or Disney World wouldn't do so well in Japan, because Japan does a lot of anime type things. So, and obviously Mario, I think more Nintendo would do better in Japan than Disney. Oh, it is still in Paris? There is a Disneyland in Japan? Ugh. I wonder where they don't have a Disneyland. Interesting things are... Now I wonder how many things they actually change in Disney movies to fit cultural areas. 2 in the US, California and Florida, Paris, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and why are there 2 in China? Of course, I say that and I probably just shot myself in the foot for being stupid. Shanghai is in China, right? I know Hong Kong is. It's just south of it. It's part of China. Yeah, why is there 2 in China? Large place. They should have just had the one in Shanghai then. And not one in Hong Kong. Yeah, well, that's because the US has Disneyland and Disney World. They're both by Disney, but they're kind of 2 different things. Like, if you go to Disney World, you're going to see things that you won't find in Disneyland and vice versa. Do I personally think they need to? No. I don't. And they're so overly priced, I don't even want to go. I'd rather go to Orlando Studios or Universal Studios in Florida. I'd rather go to that one. Disney is definitely aimed towards kids, and yes, they have Star Wars, but it is so freaking expensive. Like, even if you just have the tickets to go into it and ride the rides, the souvenirs alone, you're gonna need to take at least 5 to 10 grand with you. Like, shirts are basic shirts that you could get for, I don't know, somewhere between $15 and $20. You're looking at like $70 to $80 for it's, and I think the most, well, no, that's not true. I can't say that anymore. Used to be the most I'd ever pay for a shirt was 20, but I've been to a couple of comedy shows lately and I've paid more for those shirts, but that's those are rare occasions. I'm not just gonna go out and buy a nice $50 shirt to, you know, line my closet out in $50 shirts. No. If I'm gonna have a nice dress shirt, it's gonna be like 15-20 bucks. If that. Nerok does not pay for high quality stuff. I'd rather spend my money on video games that'll last me a lot longer than a shirt will. Because over time, your shirt's gonna get snagged, it's gonna get cut, it's gonna get worn out over time. It's just a bench, and then you won't be able to get that shirt again. Because eventually it'll just go away from stores. So now you have a shirt that you spent $50 on that you can no longer buy again, and you might get it for the first time, snag it on a corner or something, and you just ripped a $50 shirt. If I buy a $50 game, I not only get several hours of gameplay out of it, but I can come back to it anytime I want and replay it, even 10-15 years later, which I did. Silent Hill. You know, I'll spend $7-10 on a little design shirt at Walmart and then be like, if I want again, I'll buy it again. Or just get a plain shirt. Those never go out of style. Well, I mean, they're not stylish, but you can always find a plain blue shirt. Oh, only 3 M&Ms. The problem I have is finding shirts that are not gray and black with designs and pictures that I like. A lot of bigger people clothes are black and gray, which is why a lot of times you guys see me in dark gray, light gray, black, because that's not a color choice, that is a size choice. And I always get my shirts one size bigger than what I need, because I don't like tight shirts. I like them loose, loosey goosey. I don't want to feel like I'm being strangled. I'm sure you guys don't either. You know, I know the new hip thing is wear your stuff as tight as you can be and show off all your cleavage and muscle. And nobody wants to see this. Give me that. Ah! Oh, somebody go buy one. Somebody go buy a gummy soda pop thingy.